Want to know who I am? Folks call me the Bone Man, ain't my real name, but it's the one that stuck. Tonight on Requiem Radio. Some folks think music is just notes, just sound. Something you can write down, rehearse, and replace when somebody leaves. But every now and then, you run across a sound that don't quite behave like that. A band that shouldn't work, but does. A song that feels like it's being held together by something you can't see. And when that something disappears, the music don't fall apart. It keeps playing. Just not the same way. Tonight's story is called What Used to Breathe. They first noticed it in the recordings. Not the early ones, those were alive. Decisions happening inside the music, something being built in real time. The later recordings were different. Cleaner, sharper, technically flawless, and dead. No one said it at first. Musicians are practical people. If the notes are right and the audience applauds, the job is done. But someone, no one admitted who, began comparing waveforms, not for pitch, not for timing, for density. And what they found made no sense. In the early recordings, something sat beneath the sound. Not noise, not distortion, a pressure, a low frequency presence shaping everything around it. When the band swelled, it swelled. When it pulled back, it receded. It wasn't audible, but it was there. In the later recordings, it was gone. They blamed equipment at first, different studios, different engineers, different decades, until they compared across bands. The Beach Boys after Wilson stepped away, Chicago after Cap, Styx after DeYoung, Creedence after Fogerty lost control, the Eagles after Felder, Earth, Wind and Fire after White fell silent, Sly and the Family Stone after Sly withdrew. Different eras, different conditions, same absence. That was when the archivist, an older man, careful with his words, offered a theory. Not a person, not a force, a structure. In certain groups, rarely something forms between the members. Not a leader, not even a composer. Something that determines how decisions are made before they are made. An invisible architecture. Most groups never have it. Some do. And when they do, everything locks into place so completely it feels natural, inevitable. Until it leaves. "What you're hearing," he said, "tapping the screen, is not the absence of a person." He paused. "It's the absence of whatever was holding them in place." They laughed until he showed them. Buried beneath the early recordings was a pattern, not consistent enough to be mechanical, not random enough to be dismissed when isolated, boosted, filtered, forced into audibility. The room went still. Because it sounded like breath, not singing, not speaking, breathing, slow, measured, patient, as if something had been inside the music, keeping time in its own way. They shut it off. No one wanted to hear more, but curiosity is stronger than caution. They brought in a young, talented band and had them perform one of the old arrangements. Complex, layered, precise. They played it perfectly. Every note in place, every entrance clean. And it sounded like the later recordings. Flawless, empty. So they changed the conditions, removed the conductor, introduced tension, forced decisions in real time. For a moment, just a moment, the sound changed. Not much, just enough. And the equipment caught it, that same buried pattern, that same breath. The room went still. Again, someone whispered, but it wouldn't return. It doesn't come when you call it. The archivist said it comes when the structure forms. And when it leaves, he didn't answer right away. Instead, he pulled up one last recording, unreleased. A band at its peak, alive, precise, undeniable. Halfway through, something shifts, not a mistake, a departure. The music continues, but direction is gone. The piece collapses inward, safe choices, predictable phrasing, the sound of something continuing because it does not know how to stop. He froze the waveform. Right there, he said. That's when it left. Left what? He looked at them. The only thing that can't be replaced. They ended the study after that. Too many had begun to hear it, not in recordings, but in rehearsal rooms, in the silence between phrases, in the strange moment when everything should lock into place. And doesn't. The bands still play. The tours still sell. The sound is immaculate. The machine continues to run. But somewhere, just beneath it, there is a silence now. And once you know it's there, you cannot stop listening for what used to breathe.
You've been listening to Requiem Radio, where music bleeds into the supernatural. And that was what used to breathe. They'll tell you anybody can be replaced, that if you got the skill, the training, the discipline, the sound will hold. And maybe it does. But every now and then, you hear something different. A gap where there shouldn't be one. A stillness where something used to move. And you start to wonder if maybe it wasn't the musician you were listening to at all. Maybe it was something underneath him, keeping time, holding shape, breathing. Ain't gonna be no more tonight. Y'all rest easy, and don't let the dark drive you home.